This is TWiT.
So one of my favorite, I'm going to plug my Twitter list, my COVID Twitter list, bit.ly/COVID Twitter list, where I have more than 500 epidemiologists, virologists, infectious disease physicians, frontline doctors, researchers, NGOs, and a smattering, a soupçon of journalists. So anyway, in my list today, I've got my favorites. I've got a lot of favorites. And one of them, Andy Slavitt. So Andy was ex-Obama healthcare head. And he's very outspoken and very smart. So he went out for a field trip today and got just to see what it was going to be like, to get an antibody test. He had no antibodies because he hasn't been sick. It cost $99 from some company that was just doing it.
Blood test?
Yeah, I think so.
So this is, because that's the only place the antibodies live is in your bloodstream. This is something people have talked about as being the next step, but you have to draw blood. And so a home test, as a diabetic, I have no trouble pricking my finger, getting a drop of blood, putting it on a test strip, which is what the process is. So I could do it easily, but I don't imagine if you've never done that, it's something you would know how to do.
I grew up with a diabetic, so I'm used to watching it, and yeah,
it's not,
no problem here.
Painful, it's not hard. But
do they have the automatic injection things where you just go thunk and then you tap it, or do you have to actually prick yourself with your own pin?
I would imagine that the kit would include a tunker.
The thunkers are very easy to use.
Yeah.
I mean,
I used to. So our last cat was diabetic in her last year, so we had to do blood sugars like 3 times a day for the cat. So I'm used to thunking cat ears.
We are breaking Jeff Jarvis's 4 basic editing rules for the crisis. Because we're pretending to be experts when we're not. We're just repeating information we've heard somewhere. But
this was an interesting case. So the New York Times had a story about a sloppy lab in Wuhan. Could this have had an effect?
I saw that.
I watch my virologist and epidemiologist and infectious diseases experts in my Twitter list. Some just all of a sudden, as one, they will rise and go nuts over reporting. And so they went nuts over this. And they were right, I think, because it was raising suspicion and hackles that wasn't legit. And they didn't talk to, it was a story about virology, and they didn't talk to a virologist.
That's rule 1. If a story, according to Jeff Jarvis, if a story involves virology, demand the reporter talk with, cite, and listen to a virologist. Ditto epidemiology. And that's rule 2. And rule 3, don't assign political reporters to science stories. Unfortunately, I mean, here we are talking about virology and what masks work and whether you should prick yourself.
I was like, I am not a virologist, y'all.
Yeah,
I don't think either of us.
Yeah, none of us are. So we'll stop now with the advice. Nobody.
And rule 5. Heard it. Rule 5: do not show Jeff his tweets in dark mode.
Oh, right.
It just looks so much better.
People.
I don't know. It hurts my eyes if it's white. If it's light mode.
So Slavitt says, just for further information, that there's a wild west of unapproved antibody tests. The FDA-approved ones are hard to get. He went to see what the experience was and see what the positive rate was. And so the issue is going to be pretty soon is people are going to insist that they have a piece of paper say, I got the antibodies, I'm safe, I'm okay. And we'll see what happens with that.